Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me on another episode of Chanel's Reality. I'm Chanel, and this is my reality. Um, Tonight, I want to come on here and discuss some of the information that's been shared online with regard to Ray J. Um, First, I want to start off by saying that this is sensitive information and it could be triggering for some people. So, trigger warning, because we're going to talk about SI, um, which is basically when people want to unalive themselves. They have, some thoughts. So, one, I want to say this is nothing to play with. It's very, very serious. Help is available. The national number anyone can call or text is 988. That is a federal number. It is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365. And anyone can call 24/7. And help is available. Like I said, you can call, you can text, and it's available in English and Spanish. I also did leave a link in the description. So if you are struggling, feeling hopeless, if you feel like you have SI, which is, I can't say the word on YouTube, but unaliving yourself. If you know someone that may be having these thoughts of unaliving themselves, like I said, you can call 988. This is a very serious topic. So if you have anyone in the room that you think may not hear this, shouldn't hear this, which I think everyone should hear this, but that's just me. And I just think as a social worker and a therapist, I have a duty to come on here and give positive information as it relates to this, because this is something that millions of people struggle with worldwide. It doesn't matter your race, your skin tone, your economic status, your neighborhood you live in, the race you are, the gender you are, the age you are. It affects people from 5 years old all the way to no longer being here on this earth. And I say that because, like I said, I am a social worker and I am a therapist, and I've worked in hospitals, inpatient and outpatient. So I've seen it every which way you could think about it. And again, it doesn't matter if you're a superstar, if you're famous, if you're black, white, Asian, uh, Middle Eastern. It doesn't matter what part of the globe you sit on. You could be impacted in some way. It doesn't necessarily have to be you. It could be your child. It could be your daughter. It could be your son, your husband, your friend, your boss. Anybody can be affected by it. So if you are having these feelings, I just want to reiterate there's a 1-800 number. I'm sorry, a 3-digit number. I apologize. It's 988. It's a federal number. Someone's available 24 hours a day, 365. You can text that number as well. It's a federal number. You can dial it from any phone. I also left the link in the description. I'm not sure if I said that already, but if I did, charge it to my mind, my brain, not my heart. So I just want to jump right in. So TMZ is reporting that Ray J, who is a singing pop star, he's also a reality star, and I believe he started the Zeus Network. I believe. Someone can fact check me in the comments, but he's been having what may appear to some people a mental wellness issue component. And so I'm going to share, I'm going to let you listen to some of the things he said, and then one of the text messages that he put online, and then we'll discuss it. Hi, Mr. Arias Video. Welcome to the stage. Thank you so much for participating.
Thank you for having me.
You're very, very welcome. All righty, so let's go ahead and get started. Oh, hold on one second. Why won't it let me? Oh, I know why it won't let me. Okay, there we go. You guys let me know if you can hear this, if you can't hear it. Oh, okay. So maybe, hold on one second. Let me make sure. My computer is glitching a little bit for some reason. It keeps getting stuck. Okay, let's try this one more time. I don't, oh, you know what? It may be blocked from YouTube. I think that's what it is. Okay, and that's okay. That's fine. I wanted to pop this hotline on the screen really quickly. Hold on one second. Just so people can have it to grab if they want. So they can screenshot it. Oops. Okay, so then I'll just read because I'm almost certain it might not let me play this one either. Yeah, it's probably not going to let me. So Ray J says, I'll just add this to the page. So he says, trying to figure it out. Maybe this life is an illusion. Maybe the next life was my real reality. So page 6 is reporting. They say Ray J's concerns. Ray J concerns fans with posts about suicidal thoughts and unaliving himself off of a ledge. It says fans expressed their concern for Ray J after he posted and deleted videos of himself seemingly contemplating unaliving himself. In one video, the Love and Hip Hop Hollywood alum, 41 years old, appeared to be sitting on some kind of elevated surface while he zoomed in on a bright orange full moon. He stated, "If it wasn't for my kids, I would unalive myself tonight." He captioned the since deleted video on Thursday night. Another video showed the singer sitting on a ledge with his feet dangling off while panned to the ground below the ledge surrounding him. Should I just unalive myself? And then he puts question mark, question mark, question mark. He captioned the video, which he also deleted Thursday night. So this is the video that, like I said, I was trying to play. Ray J, whose real name is William Ray Norwood. This is Brandy's brother for people who may not know. Additionally took to his Instagram stories to post similar videos and photos of the nighttime setting. He captioned the video of the moon. If I unalive, or if I don't make it tonight, I don't know that I can say that word. While adding in another video of him on the ground below him, or focus on the ground below him, trying to figure it all out. Again, he says maybe this life is an illusion. Maybe the next life was my real reality. A source close to Ray J told Page 6 that he's fine and everything is okay. The source added that the videos were taken on vacation with Princess Love, his on again, off again wife. He thought about issuing an Instagram statement about about it, but changed his mind and is being vague. The insider concluded. A rep for Ray J didn't return Page 6's request for comment. Although he deleted the videos on Friday morning, fans still expressed their concern over the television personality, sending prayers of strength to Ray J, and hope that and hope he has people in his corner showering him with love and support. One fan tweeted on Friday. Okay, so that's one component of it. One of the things that is very concerning that Ray J posted on his Instagram, I'm going to go ahead and read. Let's see if I can. Oh, I won't be able to add this one. Then it all went bad. First at BET. Oh, let me just move this over here. First at BET, and then later on too. I'm really at a breaking point. To provide for my family and have generational wealth was always the plan. But money is evil, and people are bad, and I can't take it anymore! Exclamation point. These chain of reactions are stemming from being locked in a false / confused about in a false being locked in a false reality. That's what he wrote. Sorry. Confused about his whole life. The ish that happened tonight to me at the awards. He's talking about the BET Awards. Today was hurtful. I'm working backstage, and then I go take a break in the back, and BET wouldn't let me back in for some reason. I don't know who they didn't want me to see. It was weird. Anyway, I left. Hold on. I left, and this is so weird. Hold on. And it's all a lie. I'm on my way out of the country. The ish that is happening is mind blowing. It's making me have SA. I'm sorry, not SA. SI, making me want to unalive myself and uncomfortable with the participation in reality. They paid me to shut my mouth, and I did. I feel bad, and I hate myself for it. I don't want any more of your dirty money. And before, it's weird how he writes this, or right after I pass away, I promise you, everybody will know the truth, essentially, is what he says. So that's a lot. If you guys are just tuning in, then like I said, it's a trigger warning. We're talking about oh, did I close the TMZ tab? We're talking about Ray J and some of his recent posts to social media. He also was recently on the Shannon Sharp YouTube channel. Shout out to Shannon Sharp, because he's doing his thing over there, saying there were parts of the interview that were kind of weird. Ray J was drinking what appeared to be some sort of pineapple soda or drink or beverage, and he said like that. And at some point during the video, someone asked him what's in his drink. And the way they ask it, you should go watch it on your own. But the way they ask it is as, if something is wrong, and it does appear that way. He also had an incident on The Breakfast Club where he was asked questions about a lot of the reality TV right now. It's trash TV, for whatever reason. Our country and probably many other countries have this fascination with watching people get on TV and fight. Sorry, I have fruit and something is happening. I think it's due to the fruit. But yeah, he was on The Breakfast Club, and Charlamagne the God. Get me started on him. He often, is very brash in what he says and his responses to certain topics that they talk about, or even certain guests. That's his shock jock way. But it's concerning to me. I grew up listening, watching Ray J. I was always like, he's my little boyfriend in my head, as Whitney Williams might, say. Always liked him. I started not liking Ray J, honestly, whenever he went into the trash TV. I was just like, anything to be famous. That's what I thought at the time. But it's the world that we live in, it's evidence everywhere of that people just want to be famous at all costs. But Mr. Aries video, what are your thoughts about this topic and what's going on with Ray J?
Well, I definitely think, there's certainly some concerns there. Some might maybe somewhat want to allege somewhat attention seeking, um, to maybe certain degrees, in the way that he kind of makes some of his statements. I don't want to necessarily go precisely there, but I would say that, if we're trying to evaluate it maybe from like a psychological standpoint, I would evaluate, some of the context of what he stated, maybe to that
Mhm.
degree. But regardless of anything else, anyone making statements or comments like that, that it needs to be taken seriously, and hopefully he would be truly invested into seeking some help, at least maybe just talking to somebody. It's never uh, a hurt or harm to at least talk to someone about certain things that you're feeling, even if you feel like you got it together, even if you're like, well, yeah, I was just there for a minute, but I'm good and I'm back. Talking to somebody would still, I feel like, would be helpful to him. Um, so I think there's a lot to analyze there. I think it's, without knowing more of the details, it might be difficult to really difficult to really judge. Um, but ultimately, prayers to him, his family, and hopefully he will seek and can find the help that he needs.
I agree. I agree. I think that it's unfortunate. And, that's why I mentioned at the very beginning of this video, people think that because you have money and fame and fortune and all that, that somehow you can escape certain parts of life. And that's just not true. You could have all the money in the world and still be lonely, still feel alone, you know. You could be sleeping in the same house with your husband, wife, children, whatever, and still feel very much alone. And I think on some level, I'm not famous, but on some level, I would say um, part of the cost of fame, especially fame at his level, where you're coming into someone's living room every night, millions of people watching you, um, is a sense of privacy. It's on some level part of it, and he can't. I'm sure. I would guess that he probably would have a hard or difficult time, walking around in Walmart or going to Disney World with his kids, unless he like probably rented out the whole Disney World. Just the normal things that you think. Okay, I want to get this level of fame because I want to have some sort of notoriety, or I want, fans, whatever it is. I want to be a millionaire, and then it comes at some sort of cost, and then you got to constantly, unfortunately, feed the monster. And people can be relentless in their pursuit of um, invading your privacy. Everything you're doing, I took a picture with someone, so now I have to be having sex with them. We're in a long-term relationship, or if I'm not on social media, something must be wrong with me. And it, it's a million different things. Why hasn't he, worked? Or we, unfortunately, some people sit in judgment. It's like they wake up to judge you. And I can't say whether or not that's what's going on with Ray J. I have no idea. I don't know him. We just know him through the TV, right? And like I say, it could be a lonely place. Because I mean, thankfully, what we do know is he does seem to have a really close knit family in terms of his sister. She made one of my favorite songs, "Best Friends," back in the '90s, saying how much she loves him and she'll always be there for him. And his mom and I feel like his dad, they both were there. When his sister Brandy was like, a heavyweight, so to speak, in the industry, she was making lots of money. She had what 2 or 3 different TV shows, just uber famous. Um, but I would say have some sensitivity, to it. Um, I also would encourage people who, like I said, if you are dealing with something like this, or you have a person in your family, friend, mom, dad, whoever that you think might be suffering from something like this, sometimes you just got to have a mental check wellness day. Check in. How are you feeling? Whatever that might be. And you don't have to have 1,000 questions. That could be the question. How are you feeling today? Just I love you. Just want you to know you matter. Those types of words um, matter to other people. You just never know what people are going through. People go to work. I always use at the hospital. I always use Kate Spade as an example. Whenever, because a lot of the people that would come to the outpatient clinic were depressed or suffering, with this type of concern, thinking about possibly unaliving themselves. But I used Kate Spade because she was, a woman who built her own wealth. And I love me some Kate Spade. I just love everything like about the 40s. And I always felt like when I went into her stores in the mall, it was very girly. It's the polka dots and the pink colors and the sparkly, glasses and on and on and on. It's just like a girl dream, so to speak. It's like an explosion of that. But anyways, everything with her was very sparkly, and I loved it. And I loved her story. It's just like I said, she built her own wealth. And at the height of, everything, she's wealthy, she has a family, everything, she unalives herself. Beautiful lady, boss businesswoman, just out here living what we would call the American dream. And then, boom, she's gone. And, everyone around her, I'm sure, was like, oh my God. We're always like that, right? When we get news of this. And I know Mr. Arias' video, I know you said you weren't going to be able to be on here long, but you wanted to just pop in for a second. So whenever you ready to, bow out, thank you again.
No problem. Thank you for having me. And, I'll definitely keep tuning in. But love your show, love what you do, and, keep it up.
Thank you so much. Make sure to hit that like button on your way out, sir. Have a great day or evening, night at this point. But like I said, guys, I wanted to share her story and I often share her story because not everybody knows Kate Spade, not everybody's in love with her, and whatever the case may be. But my point is, what does it look like? A lot of people feel like, fame looks like everything that they would want. And I can't say that fame is the reason that he has, he's been going on, seemingly, it feels to me as a cry for help, right? And professional help is what I would suggest. But maybe he's getting that. I don't know. People do have, onsets, right? So it's like, I remember I was in, was I? Yeah, I was in high school. And a teacher that taught in my mom's school, we were friends with her children. She had two children. And one of the kids, like I said, we were probably, I feel like I was in the 10th grade, and her son, I feel like, was a grade ahead of me. So he had to be in like the 11th grade. And one day we came, after school and just a normal day. And he hadn't seen him in a minute, right? Because like I said, him, his sister, another friend of ours, we all, cousins. Because our parents work together. But we all were just kind of like, we hadn't seen him. We're just like, And I remember my mom saying, or his mom saying, oh, he's in the hospital. They both may have said it at some point. And I immediately thought, a hospital for maybe he hurt himself, or meaning like fell off, had an accident of some sort. Or maybe he was in there because he had some sort of other physical health problem. And it wasn't until maybe like a month later, I know I was sitting in the same room with his sister, and I was asking, how's he doing or whatever else, and she was, because I think she had asked her mom, are we going to go visit him today? It was just, I was young, so and plus I didn't know about mental health, right? You hear what people say, oh, so and so is crazy, which to me is rude, but they use that as a catch-all term for mental wellness or mental health. And it's, trust me when I say, it's multifaceted in every single way that you could think, right? And it's constantly growing. But I remember her saying, asking her mom, yeah, when can we go and see him, go visit him? And then I thought to myself, I think I may have even asked again, what happened to him, that type of thing, because I didn't know and nobody said anything. And at the time, it didn't make sense that no one said anything about what happened, because typically if your child goes into the hospital, the first thing you would say is, oh my goodness, he had he got his, what is that thing that no one needs that we get taken out? Appendix. Oh, his appendix erupted, or he had the flu, or, pneumonia, or he got into a car wreck or fell off a bike, just normal things. He had a temperature, whatever. And they never said that. And 14 years old, or however old I was, I didn't think, well, they didn't say he got into an accident or that he hurt himself or that he's sick or nothing like that. They just said he was in the hospital. And then it kind of later on, it made sense. It was like, oh, maybe he's in there for some other reason. But I still didn't know what the reason was. And then one day, I don't know if it was that year or the next year, or I just know at some point I was either talking to his sister or one of our cousins, and they were like, yeah, he was about to get beat up because he was he was having this erratic behavior, which I now know is mania. But I didn't know at the time, because from what I was being told, he was doing backflips all the way down the hall, like 25 backflips, and just on one. Now, if you're a professional in the field of study that I was telling you about, you probably at some point, if you work at a hospital, you will experience mania happening right in front of you. It's a part of bipolar disorder. And it's the height, right? So it's someone thinking that there's a lot of criteria for it. A lot of people think, oh, bipolar means, oh, someone's really, really depressed, or someone's really, really, excited in the mania part. But there's criteria. This is something that someone is doing that is outside of their normal behavior. And it has a time frame, and it has all kinds of different things that I won't get into. But at the time, I didn't know that's what mania was. But being a therapist and a social worker, and you're having group, and you see someone having mania right in front of you, or schizoaffective disorder, which is a mood disorder, and you're just kind of like, what is happening? I mean, what's happening because the DSM, which is the Diagnostic Statistical Manual, that basically is like the Bible for people in mental health. But you see that happening, it's different from what people see in a movie, or when you're doing a assessment and they telling you that there's a man there sitting behind you. It's real to them. It's 100% real to them. So take it seriously. And when I worked at the hospital, the inpatient, and the people telling you a lot of times about some people are after them, it is real to them. And I always, would always be like, the scarier part, because people make fun of it and they think they don't take it seriously, especially culturally. A lot of times people don't take it seriously. Anyways, but I'm like, imagine you have a hallucination, a visual one, and your hallucination looks like the girl from The Ring. Are you still not taking it seriously? Can you imagine the little girl from The Ring following you around the house or around your business or wherever you are? You would be scared too. I'm just saying. So we have to take these things like this seriously. I love that, his fans and people online seem to be, sending him well wishes and being supportive. But on the interviews that he's having, I'm not his doctor. I'm not a doctor. Let me be very clear. But it's concerning to me. Something is going on. Now, let me be clear. Just because something looks like mental health issues, so someone could be in a psychotic state, right? And it could look like definitely this person has a mental illness, because they're saying they're talking to somebody in the corner or whatever is happening. But sometimes it's drug induced. I'm not saying that's what's going on with him, but I'm just saying it's not always that the person has a permanent uh, mental illness. There are some permanent mental illnesses like schizophrenia. You don't get out of it, but you can certainly learn to live with it and you can manage it. I know a lady who years ago, back years ago, uh, her mom was taking her to doctor to get treatment to, get a handle on it. And every doctor, long story short, was like, you just take your daughter home and this is something, it's just going to progressively get worse. And basically, you have no hope. That lady now has a PhD. So there is hope. She goes on the road and she travels around talking about mental illness and her journey to mental wellness, right? So it doesn't have a face of what it looks like. There are people, and to be very clear, anxiety is a mental illness. So for all the people that's going to shame him or say whatever negative thing, it's considered a mental illness. Now, I'm not talking about, when I say anxiety, let me be very clear. I'm not talking about situational anxiety. Like, I'm going to Disney World and I've decided to get on this ride and now I have all this anxiety and I'm standing there like, why did I do this? I'm not talking about that. I'm also not talking about anxiety that's related to, oh my goodness, I have this job interview I got to prepare for and I'm nervous about it and I'm sitting in an interview and I'm still nervous, and I'm not talking about that. Because as soon as you're no longer in that situation, the anxiety is gone, right? Or the anxiety of a new date, right? That could give you anxiety. Most of us have experienced that if you've ever been on a date, just saying. So I'm not talking about that. But like I told you, all of it has criteria. So, but I want to say, wish you the best of luck with everything, Ray J. I know you probably won't ever see my video, but if you do, if one day God decides it's in, my future for you to see it, then I'm pulling for you, bro. I want to see you make it. I did want to say some things about SI before I leave. Some things you may possibly, want to ask people that you think may have it. One of the things is, do they have a plan? Do you have a plan to unalive yourself? These are some things that you might want to, if this person, there's certain levels of it that you want to get help immediately, right? You can call 911 or 988, but do they have a plan? A plan would be, tomorrow or next Monday or next month or this time of day. That would be a plan. But other things that are involved in the plan is, do you have the means? Means would be something that might help you unalive yourself. So I've been stashing away, my mom's antidepressant medication or whatever it is. Those are things that you want to probably call if they're not saying it's today or tomorrow or something like that, there's a number that you can call, and it's going to probably be different in every state or maybe even probably every city. You want to get them some help immediately, especially if they're in a situation where they've locked themselves in a room and they've told you that they've done something like pills or whatnot. You want to call 911. That's an emergency type of situation, in my opinion. Like I said, everything is in my opinion. I'm not a doctor, but it's just in my opinion. Means also would be some sort of a pew pew or pow pow. That would be or if they have access to it, right? You just want to go get them assessed by a professional. And most hospitals have it depends on the city, state, and hospital, what they might call it. So they may call it a behavioral health center. But believe it or not, lots of people, especially if they're poor, they will end up in a involuntary situation where they're in a emergency room. Someone probably called to have them evaluated. So uh, the emergency people in your area probably came and got them, which is probably the police. And there's usually typically special police that work those type of situations. But again, if you know someone, if it's you and you're struggling, then I advise you to call 988. Like I said, that is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, because there's help out there. You never know what that person is struggling with. People struggle every day. And it doesn't mean, or especially if that person has had, I just want to say sidebar, I just thought of this. If they've had previous attempts, definitely go and get them help. And don't feel it's impossible, right? Not to probably feel some level of guilt if you don't say something. And you can't manage someone else's mental wellness, but you can do what you can in that moment. I have a friend that I feel like in the last maybe month and a half, because I don't know the exact date. She and her husband are both clinical therapists. And she contacted me, and it just was the worst news. Her husband's son, the son that they had before they got married, unalived himself. It gives me chills, right? Because the immediate thought, is, oh my God, that is terrible. He was I think 30, 31, very young. And the first thought is, what did I miss? And it's the irony of it, because it's like both of your parents are therapists and you're suffering. And from my understanding, again, the father didn't see it, and you're not always going to see it. People don't always show it to you. Plus, like I said, culturally, a lot of times, and I could just say in my culture, people don't believe it. They're ignorant about it. That's not the case with my friend. Clearly, they both are in mental health wellness, right? They both are in private practice. So you just don't know. They're still suffering. I just think that's even if that wasn't the method that he is no longer here, having to bury your child is, listen, it's a different type of grief. Because the one thing you want to do as a loving parent is protect your child. And at some point in this life, you have to let go and hope that they, make the best decisions, hope that you were instrumental in their thought processes and how they do things. That's the hope. And it is something that never goes away. It's a part of that trauma center that I was talking about that we all have. We all have it. That's why you get triggered, because of the trauma that you've had in your life, no matter what it is, whether it's someone who's bullying you in high school, middle school, college, you don't have a job, you haven't been able to get one, you lost your job, you have to lose your house, your wife is sick with the big C, and there is no hope for any type of remission. Your child is suffering from, ADHD or whatever it is. They in prison, they unalive their wife. There's a million things that people are dealing with all day long. Homelessness, food insecurity. My mom's a prostitute, or they call it sex worker now. My dad wasn't in my life. Whatever is a part of your trauma center, it's there. You just have to figure out what are your ways to cope with the trauma center that you have. Because trauma is lifelong. Doesn't mean you're walking around as a victim all day, but it is lifelong. It's there every time you get triggered. That's what I'm talking about. And I call it the trauma center, but that's just me, Chanel. That's my, association, so that people can have a visual of what it is to be traumatized. And also a vision for themselves, because it's not just me that has trauma. It's not just my husband and the little kids, people in the psych ward, or like I said, they may call it a behavioral center, part of the hospital, behavioral health part of the hospital. Depends on where you are. They may have a different name for it because they want to make sure that they're not labeling people in some manner that's negative. But wherever you are in the world, if you're having these feelings or not, like I said, there's help. I believe in Jesus Christ, but I also believe in medicine, right? And there are a lot of mental health um, illnesses that are treatable, that increase your serotonin levels, which is a chemical in your brain that helps with happiness, right? The same. So there's help out there. Talk to your kids about it. Talk to your family about it, your wife, your husband, whoever. Just because people wear it well doesn't mean that they're not traumatized. It doesn't mean that. You could sit around all day long and appear to be happy. You can't, right? It doesn't mean you are. Like I said, sometimes, especially when you are a celebrity, you have to feed the beast. The beast is social media. Kylie Jenner, she has to feed the beast. She over here being a whole billionaire, allegedly. Just saying. But I'm sure it gets exhausting to always having to be posting about something, to not have a moment. Because if you're not always posting, why is she not posting? She in rehab, whatever. It's always something. And for some people, they're built for it. Others are not. And we've seen it. We've seen the downfall of not being able to get away, not ever having a moment. It's unnatural to have people chasing you all the time. In this country, it's very interesting to me. We call them the paparazzi, and we make it seem all glamorous. But the real term, in my opinion, for what happens to celebrities in this country is, what's the right word? Harassment. Be very clear. Stalking. That's what it is. You chasing people down, pushing your camera in their face, screaming obscenities at them to get them to react in a negative way. Relentless. Those people don't care, in my opinion, because if you do, if you thought for a moment, even if you didn't think for a moment, go look at what happened to Princess Diana. Wasn't that long ago. That lady had two small children who are now grown now, who are, I think, my age at this point. And I'm old. Nobody survived that accident. And it wasn't on accident. It was very intentional, in my opinion. She's gone. You lose your mom at a very young age. For what? Because they want a photo? So they have different laws in England. I wish we could, make the jump here too. Yes. Who doesn't want to, if you see Beyonce, who doesn't want to get that photo? Who doesn't want to be like, oh my God, of course you do. We're normal human beings. It's like, oh my God, it's like the Wizard of Oz, right? It's like, you get to see the emperor. It's very odd. It's like, when does this happen? So of course you want to take a photo. Who wouldn't? But the invasion of privacy and the invasion of your space, it's just beyond, in my opinion. It's reckless. And I could go on and on, but I won't. You get what I'm saying. So, like I said again, guys, please like the video. Please share the video. Please subscribe. Hit all my buttons, okay? On your way in, on your way out. I'd love for you to do it. But let's talk about it in the chat. Let's have a conversation. Have you ever felt hopeless in a manner of where you're like, if I didn't have kids, I would unalive myself. I remember Claudia Jordan said on one of those TGIFs, I think she may have said it on there or she may have said it on her Instagram, but this was like a year or two ago, I believe. And she was like, the only reason she didn't was because she was like, I care about my cats, and who's gonna, which that's what she connects to. Whatever if you can find some way to connect, and that's what's gonna connect you to say, I'm gonna stay here one more day, I'm with it. I support it, 100%. Say what you want about her. I like her. Shout out to Claudia Jordan. Listen, there was a cost, like I said, that comes along with it. I'm sure she's struggling right now with everything that happened over there. They're blaming her for everything. Don't get me started on that. But yeah, let me know if you struggled with it, if your wife struggled, your husband struggled, your kids struggled, bestie, whomever, grandmother. Chime down in the comments. Let me know how they overcame, you overcame. If you're getting help, if you're still needing help, things of that nature. And like I said, I put a link in the description. So go down to the description. You can click on the description page, and you'll have the links there. But like I said, 988 is it's a universal number. You can text and you can call 24/7, 357. Did I say 357? 365 days a year. I sound like Portia. No shade, Portia Williams. Just saying. Child, don't get me started on Portia. Portia, are you still going to be on the new house, the Real Housewives of Atlanta? Because Simon ain't letting you. He don't seem like he's going to let you film anywhere, sis. Anyway, let me know, guys. I was thinking about, on a happier note, I was thinking about recapping the Real Housewives of not Beverly Hills, of I'm going to recap him, but New Jersey. I watched I think it was the latest episode yesterday. I was like, oh my God. She really slapped you in the face with that glass. She broke a glass. I'm like, that didn't hurt. She kept on, Jennifer Aiden kept on, like, nothing happened. I was like, wow. Anyway, guys, like I said, chime down in the comments. Let me know your thoughts about what's going on with Ray J. And your thoughts about if you've ever had this concern or know someone or your family member, things like that. Talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in to Chanel's Reality. Love you guys much, much. Have a good rest of your week.